Well, hello everyone at the Be Awesome Network. I'm so excited for this morning's Momentum Meetup, and this is going to be super fun because it's just us girls today. Yay! All right. Well, I'm Lori. If you are just now tuning in to the Be Awesome Network, and I have with me some amazing women today. So we are going to go around and introduce ourselves and just tell exactly who we are, where we're coming from in the world, what we're passionate about, and what we're excited about for 2025. So I'm going to start at the top of the screen. It's like the first person who comes into the room gets to go first at these things. So, Rox, that's you. So, Roxanne, why don't you unmute yourself, introduce yourself, tell us who you are, what you're passionate about, and then what you're excited about for 2025.
Absolutely. Thanks, Laurie. And hi to everybody. Yes, so I'm Roxanne Hardenberg. I am originally from South Africa, but I am living up north in Scotland in the UK, hence the very warm scarf because it's really cold here at the moment. I have come to learn how to do some fantastic healing within the body. I'm a fast track hacker. I have been for the last 20 years, except my background is actually in IT, analyzing data. So I am very good at understanding how to go from problem to solution really quickly, which served me well in 2020 when I immigrated to the UK and then got stuck in between the borders as an immigrant visiting, waiting for my working visa. And my health spiraled out of control. And due to the pandemic regulations, I was forced into a corner and had to take matters into my own hands for the very first time. So I have had a lifelong history of living with very severe IBS, stage 4 endometriosis since the age of 21, and then a bunch of other health issues as well. And in 2020, I figured out what causes these conditions and how they all have inflammation in common. And then I reverse engineered my plan after I started to heal miraculously. I put my IBS, I cured my IBS and put my endometriosis into remission. And then decided to help a bunch of other women around the world in a fun challenge. Do the same thing through the same approach, but they ended up healing their body for multiple health issues unrelated to mine. And I then realized I was on something really, really big. And so I spent most of my time in lockdown researching. I'm a research by nature. And I figured out a whole lot of things about the body, how to activate our own healing mechanisms that we are born with, using various different modalities safely and holistically. And I've been teaching it on ever since. So I'm super passionate about changing the narrative on human healing. After being, I'm 44 now, but after spending most of my life being told by medical experts that my body is just going to be like this for the rest of its life. It's incurable. It's, hereditary, etc. Always being told that there was nothing I could do about it. And I generally don't like to be told I can't do something, especially if I think I can. And so I'm positive and very helpful. Well, I'm positive that I can help women learn how to do the same thing and get that kind of relief and that freedom so they can live their best life. So I started a company, Essential Pharmaceuticals, in 2021, F for Farm. So I'm all around bringing the holistic back and really just teaching. A lot of my program is about empowerment. I now help men as well because it's all linked to the gut. And it's all about empowering individuals to learn more about their body without having to become rocket scientists or doctors, dietitians, nutritionists, if you just learn the basics. And it comes down to three things: the mitochondria, the microbiome, and stem cells. So yeah, that's what I do. That's who I'm about, and that's who I can help.
Love it. Love it. I feel like I just got like a little mini course in in gut health. I love it, Rox. I love how you think and how much information you store up there in your big mind. It's
Thanks,
amazing.
Lori.
Yeah. All right. So let's go to Anne. Anne, please introduce yourself. Let us know who you are, where you're coming from, and what you're all about and what you're excited about.
Yes, absolutely. Well, hello, everyone at the Be Awesome Network. My name is Anne Almeida, and I am a spiritual life coach and a master energy healer in sacred geometry. And I am coming from Birmingham, Alabama, where I'm here raising my 5 kids. I am very passionate about, similar to Roxanne's story, I was told I was going to be sick forever. You know, I was diagnosed with 2 autoimmune diseases 4 years ago, and it was right at the start of my healing journey. And I kind of just put it on the side table and continued to study sacred geometry and the mindset and neuroplasticity and, you know, creating new neural pathways. I was all about the mind and the emotions. And in the process of studying sacred geometry, in the first year of my studies, I've been studying it for 4 years now. In the first year, my body healed itself, and I went off all medications and kind of had that moment of like, I always held Western medicine up really, really high. And then all of a sudden it was like, wait, I did this. And, you know, so there was a lot for me to kind of integrate in and accept it, be able to accept it. And it took me 2 years until I went back to my rheumatologist to be like, am I good? And like, they were all hugging me in the office and they were like, we don't know what you've done, but we never see anybody like this, you know. So it's been an interesting journey, but really I'm all about helping people change parts about themselves that they don't like, that to see that there's so much power in ourselves to heal. Our body wants to heal itself. Our body doesn't want to be sick. That's not why we're here, you know. And there's so much, it's a three-legged stool between the mind and the emotions and the energy. And with sacred geometry, what it does, it creates a state for your body in which disease does not exist. So I've worked with other clients who have been cancer patients, or, you know, different things where people have said like, this is your path. And they've said no. And we've been able to heal it within themselves. So I'm really passionate about bringing the power back to the individual that they've had all along, but they just didn't know how to access or weren't even aware that they did have it. So that's where my passion goes back to the people.
Wow. Okay. I'm just loving this so far because I know who's coming next. It's Gina. And it just feels like we've all been on, all of us have this in common, have been on a health and wellness journey of healing ourselves. And so, Gina, I know you have a similar story. And yeah, I would love to hear where you are in the world, who you are, what you're passionate about, and tell us just a little bit about yourself.
Yeah, I'm Gina. I'm living in Amsterdam, and I call myself a health stylist. As I jumped on my own health journey or healing my own health, I think now 24 years ago, I was also told I would have to live with all my health conditions, which I was struggling with for all my life. I was born as a premature baby at 29 weeks, and I lived in the incubator for, I think, 2.5 months. So my start of life was very behind on children my age. And that condition made me struggle with my immunity, and that went on for many years. And there were some very traumatic events happening growing up, which increased my immunity and my nervous system. And by the age of 31, I almost died of a lung infection, also due to low immunity, a lot of stress. And that was the point that I had enough and started to investigate how everything was connected to each other. Started studying and never stopped studying. So I created my own modality, body, mind, and food connection, because I feel that there are many puzzles who are missed with a lot of practitioners, but also in Western medicine. But I also think we need the Western medicine in a lot of cases. And I want people to get enough knowledge and independently working on themselves by giving them the knowledge and how to fit them in their own journey. So I am also very aiming to give people the knowledge they need to get that independence. So it's gut health. It's actually everything that you have been mentioning, all the two of you, and so the body, the mindset, and the food, and that's a big part. It's not just the food we eat, but also the energy we surround ourselves with. Actually, that's a bit of my story.
I love it. Thank you, Gina, for sharing. I am just so honored to be in the presence of three amazing women who have basically, to steal Roxanne's word, biohacked your own bodies and, healed yourselves. And so this is just incredible. I love each and every one of your stories and how you were able to turn your life around. And then now you're turning other people's lives around as well. So it's just, it really gives me a feeling of hope. And I'm hoping that this comes through to anyone who's watching right now, those of you watching the replay, just that there is hope, that if you are struggling and you have symptoms that doctors are telling you, this is how you are, this is going to be your life, that you don't have to believe that you can turn it around, right? So let's go to you, Rox. I would love to know, give us like one quick tip of, according to what you do and all of the knowledge that you have in your amazing mind. One quick tip to anyone who's struggling with, you can pick whatever you want, whether it be, IBS or any kind of symptoms that they're feeling. Would you mind just telling us a one quick tip that maybe could be helpful to get people started on their journey?
Absolutely, yes. So every health condition is linked to the gut. And every health condition is linked to inflammation, right? So to narrow it down to one thing, if you are living with any kind of negative health symptoms, pain, inflammation, weight gain, something that's just really not how it should be, you need to seriously stop putting a band-aid on things. When we have pain, we take a painkiller. When we have inflammation, we take an anti-inflammatory. And it's not our fault, and it's not the doctor's fault. I wouldn't be here today if it wasn't for the doctors. I bled out many times on the operating table. I spent more time in hospital than I can think. So everybody has a place and a role to play. Like Gina says, Western medication is fundamental. However, if you are living in pain, any kind of pain, doesn't matter where it is, why you've got it, or how long you've had it for, if that pain keeps coming back, you need to rather, while managing symptoms, because we don't want to lose our sanity levels, while managing the symptoms with whatever medication you need to just control the pain, you need to start investigating Google. No one has an excuse anymore. We all have the internet. Open up Google and start to research, what does this symptom mean? What could it be? And there's a bunch of experts out there. Dr. Eric Berg is at the top of my list. He is a knowledge doctor for good reason. I learned through him how to symptomatically break down all my different issues and how to link them to one thing, inflammation, and how to then understand what causes inflammation. Diet, a lot of foods cause inflammation. So that one thing, if you just research, what do your symptoms mean? What causes those symptoms? And what are natural remedies for it? And start to explore how to stop creating more inflammation and how to start being more pro-anti-inflammatory. Just that one thing healed my gut, cured my IBS. And when I say by default, Laurie, I literally put stage 4 endometriosis into remission by default. I wasn't trying to because I didn't think I could. But when I healed my gut in 7 months, I healed my gut. And that's taking into account I had to research. So I didn't have anyone telling me what to do, how to do it. So I could have done it a lot quicker, probably. My endometriosis symptoms went away. So your gut is really that one thing, and all your health issues are linked to inflammation, especially if there's pain or discomfort. Start researching, what do your symptoms mean? It's the symptomatic sign language of the body. That's what I call it. And that's what I'm specialized in understanding now. And you can do it too. I'm not a dietitian, a nutritionist, a doctor, a scientist. I am a certified health coach that I studied after I healed my body. But I didn't need to be any of those things to understand it. And you can heal really quickly when you figure that out. That's my one tip. If I had to narrow it all down based on anybody out there with any health issue.
Love it. That's so helpful. Thank you, Rox.
You're welcome.
Okay, Anne, let's go to you. If you could just give one tip in your area of expertise, what would it be?
My tip, I think, would be for the super sensitives out there. And it would be that to start looking at how you're feeling, not from a place of judgment, but from a place of validity, and start to give a voice to those feelings. Because a lot of what happens in my world and with my people, there are a lot of voices from the past that we didn't honor. And I'm not talking about going back to the situations. I'm talking about just giving a voice to that part of you that had that feeling, whether you were allowed to feel it at the time or not. And when I say giving it a voice, you can literally speak it out. I'm not saying you have to tell anybody. There's a certain level of healing that comes with honoring thoughts and feelings that you've had or that you are having. And so often with super sensitives, empaths, whatever you want to call us, that's typically who I work with. And we've spent our whole life trying to diminish our emotions and trying to not be the big feelers that we are in the world. And those big feelings and those big emotions, that's what I think the world needs. And so it becomes an exercise, kind of a dance, because it's really uncomfortable in the beginning, even just to say no. So, okay, let's talk about the one emotion, just to say no and to start saying no. Like, I remember it was 2.5 years ago with my healer and coach who I work with. And she's like, I was very good at saying no to outside people, but not to people I care about. Like people who I really care about, my kids, and doing those, I would bend over backwards and say yes if I really was, in that type of dynamic. And we were working on, she was like, okay, you're going to start saying no. Yes, I'm going to start saying no. And she's like, okay, well, I need to borrow some money. And I was like, okay, how much do you need? And she's like, no, you're supposed to say no to me. And I was like, well, no, but if you really need money, I can come up with a way to help. Like, I can figure it. She was like, you're missing the point. And I was like, oh, I have to say no to that? I was like, whoa, wait, okay. So I guess it's twofold. My points would be honoring the emotions that you're feeling and starting to say no to things that don't feel good, or that just you don't want to do, or that just it's exercising that voice. So that's what I would say.
Love it. Great tip, Anne. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Okay. Gina, on to you. If you could give one tip in your area of expertise, so what would it be?
I think I would, my tip would be in looking out or investigating your stress levels. So how high are your stress levels? How is your stress index? Are you aware of every stressor you have every day in your life? And not just mental and emotional stress, but also chemical stress related to food. Actually, everything you're about has stressors in it. And if you're not aware of it, then it will compromise your health while you're not knowing it. So that would be my biggest tip. And it will be too much to explore right now to explain on which level you could look. But I think one of the most important things is to see your 5 a day, like your circadian rhythm, your food intake, your hydration, your nutrients, your food intervals, and your relationship with food, and then last but not least, of course, mental and emotional, physical activity. I think to start with.
Yeah, all important. Thank you so much, Gina.
Yeah.
Well, I just think it's amazing that we can, come together and share these ideas. And I hope this is helpful for everyone watching. And listen, I am so excited to just get into the topic of, overall wellness and health. And I would love to know, each one of you ladies, what have you learned this year that you didn't expect to learn in your life or in your business? And what's something new that you've added this year that you were surprised by? I can go first. I would say that I started the Be Awesome Network in June, and this was a result of my own journey of just finding out that I really wasn't taking care of myself. I wasn't, like Anne said, I wasn't really listening to myself, and I was doing things for others, and I was working really hard and pushing myself. And just out of that season, I kind of learned to pause and listen to my body. And I went on a journey, and I left home and I went to beaches in Florida, and it was amazing. And and that was totally unexpected. In January of last year, that wasn't even on my radar. By May, I needed to move out of the house that I was in because of my lease being up, and my home that I own wasn't available yet because I had a renter. So I had this gap. It was like a gap, not a whole year, a gap few months. And so yeah, so the Be Awesome Network was born out of that journey. And it was a surprise. It was a complete surprise. And it's been an amazing ride. And so my life has drastically changed this year and for the better. And so I would love to know, each one of you, if you would just take some time to think about maybe what has changed in your life this year and what have you learned? Rox, your turn.
You know, I really should have come last in this class. If I arrive last, then I can go last. Have you not noticed? That's why I arrive last all the time. Well, okay. So something that I didn't see coming, which negatively impacted my own healing and health, was that I, in the beginning of the year, got COVID for the second time. I'm non-vaccinated by choice. I respect everyone's decisions, but living with the conditions that I have had or have still, it would have had a negative effect. And so my bounce back ability, my program's called the Bounce Back Body. My bounce back ability this time around was different. I actually experienced for the very first time, which I didn't see coming, what they call long COVID, where it affects you more mentally than anything else. In 2022, I got it for the first time and thought I was going to die, and it was more physical. And I didn't see that coming, and it really affected the way my year started. I just couldn't get ahead of myself. But it also put me in a situation where it was a good thing in a way, because it slowed me down drastically, and it gave me a lot more time to think about how can I continue doing what I'm doing. My business is now going to be 4 years old in July. How can I continue doing what I'm doing, but reach more people? Because clearly what I'm delivering, and everybody in this room, all of the ladies here, everybody needs a lot of, and there's a lot more that are coming our way. So I learned, how could I rather change the way I was doing things so that I could prioritize my healing as well? Because we're also, all three of us are always still healing, right? It doesn't happen overnight, and we also got to take care of ourselves. And so I added an addition to my company. I now have someone helping me. She is a licensed registered medical nurse with 30 years in critical care training. And she, during lockdown, learned how to biohack her own health, reverse a whole bunch of issues, put cancer into remission, healed her hormones. And the two of us are very alike. She's also in South Africa. So as of beginning of this year, actually, we started working together, and she's now helping my clients, and she's helping me as well. And so I don't know if that answered your question at all when you asked, because the one thing that I didn't see coming, even though it was a really negative thing, it helped me understand my clients better, because a lot of my clients that come to me experience this long COVID, the anxiety, depression, suicide, which is all as a result of this type of exposure with the virus, because whatever variants it is, I've done my research. And so it was actually interesting. I find the more affected I get, the more equipped I am with additional tools to help people with those health issues. I mean, God has a twisted sense of humor, right? But at least I was able to put myself in that person's shoes and go, I know what that means. But in the same light, I was able to see the need to put somebody in the business with me. We consulting, she doesn't work for me. And it's been truly transformational, because now I'm able to take a step back, not have to spend so much time researching, because I'm really good at it, but I don't try to want to be a nurse or a doctor. And so she can now bring both aspects. And so we are both now able to help more people much quicker get the solutions that they need. So that's been pivotal for me personally. So now I don't burn out as quickly, and at least I can scale the business and help more people quicker.
Wow, that's amazing. Well, yeah, sometimes those things that happen in our lives that are negative, usually, if we hang in there and troubleshoot our own lives and seek the answers that we need, we learn so much. And so even the challenges are helpful in more ways than that. Yeah. Absolutely. All right, Anne, how about you? What have you learned this year?
Oh my gosh. Well, this is a tough one, Lori, because it's like, which month are we talking about here? Like, things in my life are not really normal compared to the rest of the world. No, but I would say just, it's really interesting. So my background and my healing does come from domestic abuse, and it's something that I don't talk a lot about, but I really, when I started this road, when, you know, one of my mentors said, you don't have to go back to the trauma. You don't have to relive the trauma to heal from it. And so I really kind of latched onto that for a good few years, honestly. And then in this last year, I realized that, because she would say you need to work on the belief that the trauma created, which I do think is true. But what I've learned in the last year is you want to get to a place where you can let yourself feel some of those emotions, not going back to it, but just feeling that other layer of emotion and giving it that voice, like what I was talking about before. And it was something that was really missing for me, because I was very afraid to go back to those emotions. I didn't want them to stay. I didn't want to give them a voice, but there was another part of me that was so frustrated that was screaming to give them a voice, you know? So it was another layer of healing. And that I think when you're really deep in trauma, you can't go back, and that's okay. You know, so it's recognizing where you are in that moment and recognizing that it's all an invitation to look at things differently as they come up. And so in that, I was able to also, so with relating that back to my business, I put out my website this year, which sounds like I know you don't have to have a website to have a business. And I understand all that stuff, but I found my voice. That's what was important for me, the website. I hired 2 copywriters. I rewrote everything myself. I didn't end up using the copywriters. Like, I'd used a website team to put it together, but everything on my site is my voice. And it really, I wanted to give the women, even if you don't work with me, if you go and read the different things, it will give you a different perspective on what you're going through and give you healing just to know more, because it's all about knowledge. It's like what Roxanne was saying, like there's just so much that we're not taught, and it's not an evil, like, oh, they're not teaching us this. It's like, okay, well, no, we didn't know, or we didn't know this. And so it's really about just educating people. And I've started, you know, kind of working through that and doing that more. So I don't know if that answers your question. I feel like Roxanne. I'm like, I don't know if that answers your question, but that was best. You went first. You did a great job, Roxanne. That was a tough one to go first. I'm like, ooh, we'll see on this one. That was a good question, Lori.
I love it. I love it. Well, congratulations on your website. That's a
Thank
big
you.
project. And yeah. And I love that you just took the reins in your hands and wrote your own content and, you know, got your voice out there. It's very, very important. You know?
Once you find that was a big one for me, because that tied to a lot of the abuse of, like, just from different facets of losing my voice and losing my confidence in what my thoughts were and my beliefs and all those things. So it was a big step for me. Yeah.
Yeah. And thank you for sharing, by the way. Yeah, I appreciate your vulnerability and your openness.
Yes, absolutely. Thank you.
Okay, Gina, you are next. What did you learn this year that maybe you didn't see coming?
No. Oh. Actually, I don't know the right answer to this one, because I learned a lot. I think early this year I stepped into the communities, first to ENTV, then with Joy, and then with you. So I think my biggest lesson was to embrace my vulnerability to being visible. Because being an entrepreneur and having my own practice for 25 years, in which 10 years as a holistic coach and Gata therapist, I had a very safe space to work in. And when I decided to bring my work online, I felt this unsafety, because I also come from a very toxic childhood and unsafety and so on and so on. And I think in June this year, or maybe later, I don't know exactly the date, I was in a boot camp, and there was a story about a certain situation that triggered something in me, that I started to cry, and I didn't know why. And in that moment, I found out what my deepest why was. I thought I had my deep why, and the deepest why I had was the lack of safety, and that I wanted to be somebody's missing puzzle piece to feel safe and feel safe in life and in themselves. So that was my biggest lesson, and it gave me a lot of things to overthink. Also to go back to that certain event. It was I can share it. It was like when I was, I think, 10 years old. My mother came to pick us up with her boyfriend at the time, and then I had infection on my ear. So I was laying on her lap. And then the next moment I heard him say, what would happen if I do this? And then I saw a gun pointed at my head. Yeah. And then he turned away and shut in the door. And that moment came up when that story was told in the boot camp, because it had a similar story. And I never knew, I was never aware that it was so deep in me, still alive. So that was my most painful lesson this year, but also a very beautiful lesson, because it gave me a very big stretch to work on that safety part, because not daring to go visible has to do with that part.
Yeah. Wow. Thank you, Gina, for sharing. I can't imagine how you must have felt as a little girl.
Yeah, it was terrifying, because every moment after, I was always afraid that not only my mom would be killed, but me also. And that happened for 14 years after that. So,
Wow.
yeah.
Wow. Thank you so much for sharing, Gina. And I'm so happy that you were able to revisit that in a healthy way and heal, you know.
Yeah.
And we're all working on our healing journeys. We don't really ever arrive 100%, unfortunately.
I don't know. I think it's also a valuable thing, because we can keep on growing ourselves to next levels.
Yeah. Yeah. And then seeking that understanding and yeah, and like Anne was saying, revisiting and rewriting that script
Yeah.
in your mind, and
Yeah.
which yeah,
And we can help others to guide them forwards too, with all the backpacking we have done.
yeah, yeah, so true, so true. Well, thank you, Gina. Wow, I'm just blown away by your guys'
Sorry.
yeah, your vulnerability and your sharing of your heart. It just really makes me feel, I don't know, just like more drawn in to know who you are and who each one of you are. And I hope that when you're watching this, you guys are feeling that same feeling and connecting. And that's what this is all about, is connecting with each other, and then also connecting with people who are wanting that connection and wanting that healing and on your own journey and seeking answers. So thank you guys so much for sharing. Okay, let's shift gears into what you're excited about for 2025. And you know, we're approaching the holidays now, so people are slowing down just a little bit, and then, you know, once January comes, people are ready to go. So I'm curious, Roxanne, what are you excited about for 2025?
Well, I am excited about the fact that I have taken what once was a 12-month healing program, which is where I started. I've always taught one-on-one, except for this year I started, teaching in group models. And because I'm a biohacker and a fast track hacker, and I'm forever researching safe and effective ways to get to the healing quicker, I have taken a once was 12-month program, which then became a 6-month program, which I'm now finding that my clients this year, because I obviously compare results from all my clients over the months, I'm able to help them get the same type of healing within 3 months. So this has allowed me to not only put a program out into the market that I can charge less for, because you don't need to work with me for as long. I can also help individuals who are critically ill, who are in dire pain to the point where they can't even get out of bed, right? They're just losing their minds, losing their jobs, their lifestyles, their family, everything. Everything falls down around you when your health crumbles. I can now, with the help of my new addition to my team and my new methodologies, and I've also just digitized it, so it's now available on the Card Manager app, which is the leading app globally. I'm also a partner with them as well. So I've been able to take what was once very long, 12 months, and shorten it into 3 months. And I can really help people kickstart 2025, especially because it's that time of the year now where a lot of the time people put healing off because let's face it, right? It's festivities, and we also want to enjoy. Life's far too short to not have those enjoyments. But now comes January, and then it's the long slog of, oh, okay, I'm going to do this. And then it's going to take 6 months to 12 months. And people put it off because they think it takes too long. They don't know what they don't know. We don't know what we don't know. So I'm excited to be able to take people from where they are now with their health issues to where they want to get to with their health in general in a much shorter space of time at a fraction of the cost. And I can help more people. I'm very excited about that, because what really frustrated me, Laurie, in the very beginning is I'm a helper. I'm an empath as well, like Anne mentioned. And like Gina, I didn't know that about you, Gina, but you and I have a lot in common. I grew up around violence, domestic abuse, all kinds of abuse from a young child. And it's interesting how all three of us on this call, obviously Laurie, Gina and Anne, have come from similar types of backgrounds where we've been exposed to very toxic negative elements. And look at us today. Because we are standing here now showing other people that it can be done. You can turn things around and your body really can heal really quickly. So do not put it off. I'm excited to be able to show people how to actually shorten that process and to create a roadmap. And that's why I've got that up there. If anybody wants to scan it, it's a free session where I can help you on the call. I haven't found my voice yet, like Anne has. And I'm glad Anne mentioned this, because I couldn't figure out why I don't have a website. I've been trying to create one for 2 years because I'm battling to find my voice in terms of putting my content on a website. But when I get on a call with you and I just listen to you, people want to be heard. I can put together a little program for you very quickly and just give you value even on the call. I'm excited for 2025 because I know that I can impact a lot more lives a lot quicker without burning out this time. That's what my excitement is, Laurie. And hopefully having my website finally launched.
Love it. Love it. Yes. Well, you're putting all the pieces together, and yeah, that's what we do, right? We just keep building on our own lives and our businesses, and that's what's so fun about looking forward to the next year and anticipating what are we going to do next, right? What is new? What's on the horizon? So I would love to know, Anne, for you, what are you excited about 2025?
Let's see. Okay. I love that I get to go second, not first. So thank you again, Roxanne. I would say for 2025, I'm most excited about teaching people more. So it'll be with the Abundance Life Network. So a different network where I'll be doing weekly lessons. And one of I've taught yoga and Pilates since I was in my early 20s, and I'm now 47. And it's always been the same thing. I love seeing the light come on in somebody's eyes when they figure out that they can do it when they thought they couldn't. And it doesn't have to be physical fitness. This applies to everything, but it's really seeing that light come on. And so with my one-on-one clients in the last 6 months, I've really been teaching them more instead of guiding them or giving them advice and that type of stuff. It's really been more about teaching, okay, here's your lesson. Let's go through this. And then they're like, oh, so it's those light bulb moments of really getting people to experience things that are bigger than the 3D world that we're in. So we're going to get into a little woo-woo spirituality stuff, but it's really getting people to a place where they can meditate, where they can connect to something greater, where they, it's that empowerment. And with those weekly lessons, I'm very excited to see where it grows. And for me personally, I'm still forever, and I hope this might resonate with some viewers out there, with you all, but with dreaming big. That was something that was very hard for me. Even to think about asking for what I want was tough for me. So to think about dreaming. So I feel like a toddler with dreaming. I'm still working on it. I'm still working on what I want to create and what I want to bring into this world. But I'm very excited to share all that I've learned with other people, because I think somebody else said it too. It's knowledge. It's not, and it's just an absence of knowing how. Anything that you want in life, it's just an absence of knowing how to get there. And I feel like we women that's what we're trying to do, is help show people how to get there. And everybody's path is unique. It's not a cookie cutter, but it's the more the more you can dial in and listen to yourself and know what steps to take next. So yeah, that's about
Love it. Love it. I do. I feel like everyone is in a season of finding our voice, finding our our next steps and dreaming big. I love that. And I love the word believe behind you too.
That's what somebody said to me, and it's so true. Dreaming is free. It's free, but yet we don't. I was so afraid of disappointment. Well, if I dream about this and I don't get it, then I'm going to be disappointed. What is it? Really? Like, really? For decades, I've been like, oh, well, what if I don't get it? Well, okay, what if you get an nth of that? Then how excited will you be? You know what I mean? So it's really just looking at things differently. That was very eye-opening for me.
Yeah, love it. Thank you, Anne. Thank you for sharing.
You're welcome.
All right, Gina, you are next. What are you looking forward to for 2025?
I think I made some decisions the last few weeks about where I wanted to go, because besides guiding people individually, I ask a lot about other coaches who are not certified or are just experience-based for all kinds of advice or little methods that they can use. So I think my next step will be also to provide my knowledge to experience-based coaches to create a modality, to also be more giving more teachings and share my knowledge, my own method. I think we will be creating new health stylists. I think that's a nice way of putting it. And besides that, of course, my Holistic Bliss Kickstart program, I hopefully will get a big success online starting the new year. Because you have to start somewhere. So that's something I try to teach people. You have to start somewhere, and I can show you where and how. Because like we all three have experience, every journey is different. And if you learn how to connect your own dots, you can help the next one to get them connect their dots. So I think we all are about creating ripple effects, and doesn't matter how we do it as long as we are tending to do it. Yeah.
I love it. I love it. So exciting. I'm excited for all three of you for the new year. And it's always fun to, I guess it's like a refreshing, entry into a new season. So, it's reflecting on this year and what we learned, and then looking forward to the next year and what we're excited about. And I think that's very important. So I would love to know, Roxanne, what kind of things do you do to reflect and to project? Like, are you a journaler? Are you a vlogger? What do you do to reflect? And it doesn't have to be a tool or a modality, but for me, I'll just this year I've been videoing myself, and because I found it hard to sit down with a pen and paper and do the journaling. And I tried to do it on my computer, like type it out. But there's something about just talking to basically myself. And it's been very therapeutic. And so I have like a whole library of kind of documenting my own journey. And I haven't shared those with anyone, and I don't know that I ever will. But that's been very, very healing for me too. And I find sometimes that I will actually start crying as I'm talking, because feelings are bubbling up, and questions and things that I've learned and things that I'm scared of or things that I'm excited about, I'll even sometimes laugh at myself. So I would love to know what do you do to help yourself in your own journey?
Never do you ever ask an easy question, eh? It's a good thing though, it really gets us thinking. Okay, no, it is an easy question actually. So I have always battled with silencing the voice in my mind. From a young child, always very anxious, when's the next disruption going to happen? And that carried throughout my life. And being always behind a computer, I didn't really like to journal. I didn't really know how to. And my mother found my diary when I was 17, and I swore I'd never, ever write anything down ever, anywhere for anybody to find. So I never really knew what journaling was. And then after I joined Mastermind in 2020 with Tony Robbins and, the coaches, and really started to learn how can I work on myself, because I needed to silence that voice in order to just stop the chaos. So it took me about 1.5 years to figure out how to actually do this. But now what I do, it actually took me a bit longer, is every morning I have a ritual. It's my powering up phase. And in the evening, I have my ritual, and it's powering down phase. And it's actually part of my program, my daily routine guide. And in the morning, I actually do sit down with a journal, pen and paper. And I have come to learn that I'm not religious at all, but I'm very spiritual. And I talk to God all the time. And I realized that by just journaling one page, A5, or is it a little bit bigger than that? 3 things I'm grateful for. And even if it tends to always be the first thing that I write every morning. It's the same thing every morning. It's the first thing I write. And that is, thank you for waking up with the gift of life. Because so many people around the world took their last breath last night. And I actually get to do this again today. It's another time to try better, do better, serve better, heal better, learn better, teach better. And then just being grateful for a few things. I choose 3 things. And then 3 things that I'm really excited about. And it can be the same 3 things every day until I get them, right? And then 3 things that I have no control over, that is what I need to let go. And often it's disgruntled. I'm disgruntled. I'm upset. I've done something that I shouldn't have done. Maybe I'm asking for forgiveness, but I just want to let it go. And then that's it, done and dusted. And then just some breath work. Again, always battle to do that as well, but essential oils helps. Obviously studying essential oils after I use them to heal, that really does help get into the mood. And then in the evening, it's the powering down, and it's the same thing. It's the same book that comes out, same journal, and it's a repetition, but it's more reflection now. So in the morning, it's gratification and manifestation. I have figured out how to manifest really well, surprisingly. So that's really cool. And in the evening, again, it's how was my day? What are 3 things that I'm really grateful for that I did today? What are 3 things that, again, I'm excited about that I haven't been able to maybe achieve? And then just letting go of some frustration, things that I just need to pass on, get out of my system. And sometimes I do get emotional when I do that. And I have found that there is power to writing. Something happened, I don't know what it's called, but there is something. Dr. Joe Dispenza, I love him to bits. He talks about there's that power when you actually are writing something, physically writing something. And Laurie, I'm not saying that your videos don't work or typing it. Getting it out is important. There's something behind writing it physically. It's almost like you are committing it to paper. And now you've written it out. And so now there's a process there. So that's been very instrumental. Yeah, did that answer your question? Yeah, I think it did, eh?
Absolutely. I love that. Maybe I'll get my paper out.
And there are times that I don't do it. And I have found, because you know me, I analyze everything. I'm an analyst that way. I figured out that when things have really gone according to plan, like I've got a new client that I really hope she'll, see that she can do this. And yes, the income is great, but it's about impact. If you make an impact, the income will come. And I have found that when I journal the night before, that I'm really grateful for what has happened, the next day works so much better. And it's the nights that I don't do it, that those days after don't go as according to plan as much. So there definitely is a frequency thing. It's about the frequency and the energy that you put out. So yes, get your pen and paper.
Yes. I love it. Yes, I do have a journal that I do pick up from time to time, but I love the consistency, Roxanne. I think that's very important that you are consistent, and the fact that you can kind of even clue in that, oh, I didn't write last night. So this morning I'm feeling off, but yeah, very important. Thank you for that. I appreciate that. Okay. Anne, what do you do in your own healing journey?
Okay. So there's more I want to speak on that. So it's fascinating with the journal thing. I had a sister who read my journal when I was younger, so I didn't keep it. And then I had a partner who actually, later on in life, my therapist told me I needed to start writing. And then the partner ended up taking that journal and using it as like his manifesto for all of the things that he would. So when I first came on my healing journey, they told me to journal. I was like, no, I'm not doing it. I was like, you people, you have no idea what he did. He took, like, so there was a big, like, that was really, really tough. And then I had psoriatic arthritis, so I couldn't write. I couldn't open a jar. I couldn't, I couldn't carry a stone. My hand would just randomly drop things. And so I did the video journaling then at that stage. So I think it's very important to honor where you are, but there is an energetic exchange when your hand writes the word. It's an energetic thing, I think, that happens. And so I'm all about kind of the micro habits and the resetting yourself. And so if you can't, I love like what Roxanne said with the ritual. Like my morning ritual is, in my 9-year-old daughter knows, she's like, oh, mom has to go outside to clear. So I go outside and I clear all 9 chakras in my system before I start the day. And it takes less than 10 minutes. Part of my goal is that I want to teach everybody else I think the world would be a very different place if people knew sacred geometry and knew how to clear their chakras and could start your day. Because I think there's been 3 mornings in the last year that I haven't done that. And those days were just epically wonky. Like there was just something really off. It was like my daughter's friend left her wallet in the cab and we had to go here and we had to go there. And I was like, okay, I will forever clear my chakras in the morning. But what I want to speak to with doing resets and doing different things, like don't be afraid to add something else. Like if something's working for a certain amount of time and it's great and that's wonderful, but if all of a sudden it stops working and it doesn't have the same effect, you might be hitting what's known as a ceiling. And so we all have a basement, we all have a ceiling, and when the ceiling goes up, the basement goes up, so they're always at equal proportions. And start to add in other things. It's all about the small habits. Like I'm a big person in how your body loves to move. I love fitness, I love dancing. I think if we all moved how we wanted to move as children, if we move that way as adults, we would all be physically fit and loving our workouts. And so really it's asking yourself those questions about what you need. So like for me, it is clearing the chakras because we do a lot of spiritual work in our sleep. So like for me, that works. But really listening to what other people do and seeing what feels right for you and honoring what feels right for you. If you're in that video messaging stage, that's where you are. If you're in a journaling stage, that's where you are. And now I'm very proud to say I have like 30 journals in my bookcase. Like it clearly started coming out. But for me, a big thing with that was trust. Like, because those people who I felt like violated my trust, I had to look at it a different way. They were trying to figure out what was going on with me because I wasn't talking, because I wasn't communicating. I'm not excusing that behavior, you know what I mean? But there's always reasons why. So like really looking at like your daily habits with the micro thing. And I think I went way off topic, but hopefully I got there eventually.
I love it. I love it. I was like, okay, maybe we should clear our chakras right now. Are you game for that?
Oh, absolutely. But do you want Gina to answer the question?
Yes. Gina, why don't you answer the question? And then, I mean, if you guys are open to that, I think it would be fun to do that to end our call today. Okay. So Gina,
you were freezing. Sorry.
What?
You were freezing on my end.
Oh, okay. Well,
sorry.
Yeah, no, you're good. You're good. So I want you to answer the question, Gina. What do you do in your own healing journey? Were you able to hear everything?
Yeah, of course. I've of course been also on a healing journey since 25 years ago that I really started to do that consciously. And I was a big writer all my life. As from the day I could write, I wrote so many journals. And I still do, but what I mostly do is now I just be my own blah blah. So I talk to myself because I'm living alone for 11 years, and of course my dog died 3 months ago, and he was my best companion, and usually we had this conversation going on every day in the morning and always. So we started with a good morning walk, and he was also very non-verbally expressing his feelings because you could tell on his face. And so the biggest challenge for me now is to do that for myself without him. And the first 2.5 months was really a challenge. And I try to maintain his, how do you say that? I think he taught me to connect with myself. That is what he did. Yeah. On a deeper level, and also with people outside. And so this is what I do for myself to to keep on track, to expand, to get deeper connections with people, with everything I like to do. Yeah.
Wow. Well, and I'm so sorry. I did see that when you posted, and I'm sure that's very hard to lose such a close companion. So I'm very sorry, Gina.
Thank you. Thanks. Mm.
And I love that you turned that into something for yourself. So, it's important for us to honor our journeys and even the sad parts of our journeys.
Absolutely.
And yeah.
Yeah, because he also came into my life, and it's 10.5 years that I was out of this last relationship, and I lost everything that I built in Amsterdam in 7 years. So I had to start over from scratch. And I didn't have an income at that time, so I had a very little money, and I didn't know how I managed to save the money to buy him. And he became my accountability partner, and eventually became my partner in crime. So we had this beautiful connection. So yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Isn't it amazing how pets can do that for us? We've lost several dogs in the past few years, well, 10 years, I guess. Just out of different circumstances, age and health issues. And yeah, it's the hardest thing to let go of those pets. And but I love how you can still talk to him, right?
We do that because I think he came for a reason. He had to teach me something. And when I got to find out that he was sick, very unexpectedly, I thought, okay, it's time for him to let me do my work on my own. So that's the thought I had, and that's something that I can embrace to do what I need to do. Yeah.
Beautiful. Beautiful. Thank you guys for sharing, all of you. And we are getting close to the end of the hour. How long, Anne, does it take to clear your chakras?
Well, honestly, it doesn't take that long, but it would be more of a longer walkthrough. But what we could, I could do a grounding thing really quick. That'll take just a couple minutes if you all want to do that.
Yeah. Are you guys open to that? Absolutely.
Yeah.
Let's start our day with positivity and grounding. And yeah, this has been a beautiful experience. And I've just really appreciated each one of you sharing what you shared. You never know when you meet up like this. The meetups are to get to know you as a person, but also get to know what you do and what you're passionate about. And so each one of you brings such an amazing, different flavor to this meetup. And I'm just so grateful that we were able to connect in the way that we did, because it was very meaningful. And sometimes it's a shuffle, and we don't really get to know the person that we're talking to. So I just really appreciate you guys having open hearts and sharing so much from your experience and your life. And yeah, so I just want to honor and just give you guys, yes, lots of love, lots of love. Let's see. How do I do this? Put a heart. I'm going to put a heart in the. There we go. Lots of love.
Oh, yay.
Okay. Well, let's end our time with a grounding exercise. Anne, will you please?
Yes, absolutely. We're just going to go for it. So this is where you get to use your big active imagination just for a moment, because this will be a shorter one, but just go ahead and close your eyes. We're just going to close our eyes. I'll close mine as well. And I want you just to take a breath in through your nose, just really relax, just filling yourself up, and then breathe out through your mouth. And then again, breathe in through your nose, trying to make it a little more full belly breath, and out your mouth. And this time, when you breathe in, I want you to imagine, give your breath a color. As you breathe it in, feel it in your body, feel where it goes, and then breathe out. And I want you to use your big, bold imagination. And I want you to imagine that you have roots growing down out of the soles of your feet. And as these roots grow, your breath fuels them. I said that backwards. Go and take a breath in and imagine your roots growing longer and stronger. They're diving deep into the earth, going into the earth's core. As you breathe out, the roots grow thicker, they go longer, they go stronger. And just allow yourself to relax into this. Now, the beautiful thing about these roots are connecting you to the master transmuter, which is Mother Earth. And it's a two-way street. So I want you to imagine anything that isn't serving you. If you don't have something specific, you can just say anything that is not serving me. And I want you to imagine releasing it down through these roots and just allowing it to travel through these roots, leaving your body. With every breath, more goes out. And what we take out, we also must fill back up with. And we're going to fill back up from the feet and from the sky. So let's start. These roots are a two-way street. And just as we release through them, they give back to us. So I want you to imagine the most magnanimous, unconditional, welcoming, warming love coming up from the core of the earth. Because she wants to take care of you. She wants to help you in your day. And if it helps to give this love, this thing, a color, give it a color. Whatever color comes to mind. There's no right or wrong, and there's no judgment. I want you to imagine this unconditional love traveling up through the roots and coming into your feet, into the soles of your feet. And it starts going into your left foot. And then your right foot, traveling up from your ankle to your knee, and from your knee to your hip, filling up your legs from the bottom up and traveling up through your torso, through the front of your belly and through your lower back, coming up all the way up until your shoulders and the front of you and the back of you, and traveling down from your shoulder to your elbow, and your elbow to your wrist, and your wrist to your fingertips. And this unconditional love is swimming up through the front of your neck and the back of your neck, the front of your face and the back of your head, your left ear and your right ear meeting at the top. And just breathe it in, let it soak in. And just as we fill up from below, we will also fill up from above. So I want you to use that big, bold imagination and imagine a light coming down from the sky. This light could be golden, could be purple, it could be orange. There are no rules. It's just you. So let the light fill in, coming in through the top of your head, that beautiful, gorgeous mind of yours, filling you up with a light and an unconditional love from above as it travels down. It's dancing with the energies of the earth from before that are inside you, traveling down the front of your face and the back of your head, your left ear and your right ear, coming down through your throat. It feels warm, it feels loving, it feels good. Just imagine this light traveling down through your arms, from your shoulders to your elbows, to your wrist and your fingertip, your left arm and your right arm, traveling down through your torso, coming down through your back. Allow your shoulders to relax, allow your jaw to relax, your tongue is relaxed. Letting this light and this love dance inside you. It travels down through your torso and from your hips to your knees, and your knees to your ankles, and your ankles to your toes. Just allow yourself to breathe it in, taking a breath in and breathing out. Letting those colors dance around inside you. Start to push that light out. You're full, you're glowing. You have so much inside of you that you are sharing, and with each breath you start to glow a little brighter. And just allow yourself to breathe. Take one more breath in and breathe out. And when you feel ready, you can go ahead and open up your eyes. That was a little flavor of a grounding meditation. Welcome back.
Thank you so much, Anne. Wow.
You're
Okay,
welcome.
we're going to do one more round and go around. Tell me how you feel. Tell me how you feel, Roxanne.
Sleepy.
Maybe
Well,
you
I mean, in all fairness, it is almost 4 o'clock here in the afternoon. No, that was interesting. I find it difficult to get into. It always is like that with me. My fingers will be, I'll be thinking of 10,000 things. And I think halfway into something like that, I find myself only really getting into it. And I wonder ever if I've actually wasted the first half, or if that's actually part of it. But by the end, I found that I really felt very comforted, relaxed, safe.
Good.
I think that's something all three of us here share, all four of us maybe, that safety aspect and being able to feel safe. And that was grounding. That was pretty cool. So, and if I can ask a quick question, is that something that I could go outside in the morning and actually do a bit of an extended version?
100%. Yes.
Barefoot on the grass.
Yes.
Really.
Yes.
Wow.
100%. Yes. And you know, it's interesting. Yeah. And I want to hear what Gina says too. And then we'll go back and add a little tidbit, but yes, 100%. You can definitely use a more expanded version of that outside or inside.
That was amazing. Thank you for sharing that.
You're welcome.
Yeah, thank you, Anne. Or yeah. Okay, Gina, would you please share? And then I'm going to share how I feel too.
You can go first, Lori.
You want me to?
You can go.
Well, the reason I asked is because, you know, I guess this morning was one of those mornings, Rox, where you described where I didn't really take time. I had created kind of a little bit of a habit of just being in my bed and just hugging my pillow and saying thank you for this day. And, you know, it's kind of what you were expressing, what you do with your journal. And I kind of just rushed out of bed this morning. So as you were talking, Anne, about, you know, oh, mom goes outside to clear herself. I'm like, I want to clear myself today. So it's really kind of a selfish thing. I was just like, let's do this. Because as you mentioned it, I think it's very important. It's very important to start your day right. So, and there are always going to be days where we just don't, right? Because we can't always do everything perfectly, right? And that's something I've struggled with in my life, is perfection and performance. So yeah, so I felt very like my hands were doing this in my lap, and I didn't even realize that I was like clenching I was relaxing my body, but my hands were just like, you know, like I was something, but it was just like, and so about midway, like Rox, I realized what I was doing with my hands. I was like, well, I probably need to be relaxing my hands too. Yeah, the breaths were amazing. The roots down through down through the ground was amazing. I thought that was a new concept for me. I love getting my bare feet in the grass, but actually like visualizing roots growing down from my feet, that was an experience for me. So thank you, Anne.
Oh, you're so welcome. You're so welcome.
Okay, Gina, let's hear from you. How do you feel?
Yeah, I'm also always a bit fighting these things because of the safety thing and letting people see me close my eyes, what is happening around me, but I'm alone now, so nobody can touch me. And so it's the same with my hands. They were like also together between my legs, and then I suddenly thought, okay, I have to let them go. And I did, and I really loved it. It was really nicely put with the roots in the soil and everything Laurie mentioned also. And I'm one of those persons who really needs time alone in the mornings. So I make clear that before my day starts, I have at least my 1 full hour for myself. And as being a single alone, that works perfectly.
Love it. Love it. Yes. Well, thank you, Anne, for sharing and, you know, being open to do that. I was on the fly, just randomly asked you to do it. So I really appreciate it.
Well, you know, one thing I wanted to add about it, when I started teaching yoga in my early 20s, my instructor said, you know, you need to lead a meditation at the end. And I was very much a perfectionist. I have a computer science degree, worked in IT accounting, you know, so me sitting still to meditate, I was kind of like, whatever, you know, like it was very much a whatever. Okay. Like, how do I do this? And she's like, well, just do this. And she told me kind of the last half of it or a piece of it. She's like, but just to ad lib it. And so I would do this meditation where I would fill people up with light. And I didn't know the grounding part and I didn't know the other part, but I would fill people up with light. And I did this for 20 years before I started trying to do it myself. And then when I was working with a mentor, and she used the words almost verbatim that I had used for the past 20 years, had never done it myself, but she was like using the exact words that I used with these people. And she was the one who helped me kind of get into the grounding stage and everything. And I was like, oh, okay, well, maybe I've done this in past lives or something, because I clearly am supposed to do this. So the power of meditation, especially for super sensitives and especially for empaths, it gives you a connection to something greater than you. And I think when you've been through abuse, you've been through trauma, is a lot of, you lose that faith, you lose that belief that could happen, you know. So that's really, the meditation has been a very, very powerful tool for me to really learn who my own voice is. So
Yeah, beautiful. Well, thank you again, and thank you, ladies, for
you.
sharing your hearts and souls today.
Wow.
It's been a very meaningful time, and I really appreciate your openness, your honesty, your vulnerability. When Brene Brown says that we connect through our vulnerability as humans, and so it's very important to be vulnerable, you know, and to feel safe. So I'm glad that you all felt safe in this space today. And
today was different, very different.
Yeah.
I don't know. I just all four of us, just listening to how the hands were clasping and fidgeting, and how we were all having the same, you know, and all four of us have similar, you know, stories of vulnerability, and it's crazy. It's just,
It's meant to be today.
yeah. I learned more about myself today, so I always do on these. So thank you.
that's good. So good.
It's been amazing. So
Thank you all.
Thank you.
Thank you guys for joining and being open, like I said. And if you're watching and you connected with any of these ladies here and their stories, and you want to reach out, please do so. And ladies, you will be able to drop in the comments any kind of website or ways to reach you. Would love for you to do that, so that when someone connects with you, they know how to reach you. And yeah, so thank you again for being so present and so amazing. You are all amazing women, and I just love how this day turned out. So thank you for blessing my day.
Thank you. Thank you.
Yes, thank you so much to everyone.
Thank you.
Well, thanks guys for watching. And again, always when you are tune into the Be Awesome Network, you will always hear that you are awesome, because you are. And I want you to hear that. I want you to feel that. I want you to believe that. And when you believe that, you can go out and do your life in the very best way that you can. And then we can all be awesome together, right?
Yay.
All right. Well, thanks for watching, and we'll see you guys next time.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye.